Motivation in games is often driven by reward systems. If you perform well, you get a bonus. For instance, a badge, a high score, a new level. But oddly enough, rewards can also affect rather than increase motivation. To understand this, we have to distinguish between extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is oriented on pursued outcomes and external pressure. You may not like the task at hand, but you are ready to perform it in anticipation of a result or a reward. Intrinsic motivation, in contrast, is directly oriented on the task or content at hand. It is associated with a personal trait of willingness, and it is not driven by an external reward. You just like to do the task at hand. Obviously, we want people to be intrinsically motivated. They should engage in an activity because they truly like it, and not just because of a reward. The problem is that rewards are easily perceived as external controllers of behavior. They are associated with force, pressure and surveillance, and they are prone to undermine intrinsic motivation. Even the perspective of missing out a future reward may produce pressure. The fear of failure produces stress, which poses a barrier to learning. Does this mean that we should get rid of reward systems? That would be a shame, because don't we all like to receive some token of success, a proof of being appreciated? For rewards to be effective, we should rely on motivation theory, for instance the theory of self-determination. Rewards are capable of amplifying intrinsic motivation when the player either feels competent, can act autonomously, or fulfills the expectations from the social environment. It simply means that players should feel personal satisfaction and pride about what they do. Hey, I can do it. I want to do it myself. Or what I did is noticed and recognized by others. In most games, competence and autonomy would be key. How does this work in practice? For any intrinsic motivation to be triggered, we need to offer players a great deal of autonomy. That is freedom of movement and responsibility to take decisions. We need to put players in charge of a concrete task that is doable so that they can successfully complete it. Games can do so by offering a practical context. For instance, a business simulation, putting the player in the role of chief executive officer, which goes with autonomy, freedom of movement and responsibility. Rewards should be contextualized, that is, they should be directly related with the game narrative. So abstract scores should not be used. Rewards should be related with things that matter in the game. Additional capital for investments, a higher customer satisfaction or increased market share, which are truly rewarding and contributing to the sense of competence and ownership required for intrinsic motivation. To reduce dependencies of rewards, just gradually diminish the frequency and depth of these and allow players to become largely driven by intrinsic motives. I want this, I can do this. In the end, the reward is in achieving the mastery. In sum, rewards can be counterproductive and affect rather than amplify intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation can be stimulated by putting the player in charge, with a great deal of autonomy and freedom of movement, and provide content-related rewards. This helps players to embrace the content and understand its significance. In the end, the best reward is in the satisfaction of feeling competent, autonomous and being appreciated by the social environment.